All right. Well, thanks for letting me come by. Not that you had a choice. Well, Matt did. I asked him if this would be good for you guys, and he kind of agreed. Because
I would say kind of. I say definitely.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't really have a choice when he's talking to me, so.
It's a very one-way meeting that we have.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, you ask out of courtesy, like, hey, I know it's your team, but is it okay if I present to you? Like, I'm expecting, I guess.
Just to acknowledge.
Gotta respect the chain of authority. Anyways, all of you deal with WordPress in one way or another. Is that a fair assumption? Whether development, design, you're all on the WordPress backend. So I think it'd be very beneficial for everyone to kind of, if you not already know, understand how important WordPress is, not just to the company, but to the entire web development industry, to the world, really. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, could I ask you to take off the hats? Very distracting.
No. It's not my fault your team lost. You go cry about it some other time. Anyways. Oh, by the way, throughout this whole thing, feel free to ask questions. This is not a formal, like, sit down, shut up, and listen to this thing. Like, pipe up if you have any comments or anything. So to start off, we all know what WordPress is, right? It's a client content management system, or a CMS, meaning that you can just go in, adjust the content, and then whatever development is done, it just shows up there, right? But we'll get to that. Right now, I just want to talk about the magnitude of WordPress. Currently, last time this tracker did its thing, there's about 16 million websites in the world using WordPress, and there's about 50,000 new sites a day that are coming out that are on some kind of WordPress platform. So that's huge if you think about it. 50,000 new sites a day all on WordPress. That kind of gives you a scope of that we're not just a very niche company using WordPress just because it's free or whatever, but because it really is a huge platform. And not only is there 16 million, you might be saying, like, oh, that's fine, like, that's just blog sites. But out of the top 1 million websites in the world, 30%, 300,000, are built on WordPress. And if you look at those, New York Post, TED, Spotify, CNN, TechCrunch, NBC, all these sites that are built on WordPress, a lot of those, like Spotify, for example, I was looking at those, heavily modified WordPress, but WordPress nonetheless.
Didn't they just jump up like 6 to 7% in the last 2 years also? Because I want to say when I went to WordCamp a couple of years ago, it was only like 23, 24%.
Mm-hmm.
So they shot up.
And not only is it shooting up, but it's shooting up exponentially. So more people are figuring out, hey, building websites isn't so bad. Because you got to remember, 5 years ago, building a website was something that was, you had to have a degree in it. You had to be well versed in it. You had to know coding language. And now with WordPress, Luke can build a website.
I can? Me?
Do you mean it?
I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt here. We're trying to be nice. So are you guys getting like the feel for what WordPress is? Like, it's not just like some random thing. Like, it really is a big thing. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because I want you guys to realize the value for your future career. Whether you do decide to keep on WordPress or not, you can at least realize that what you're learning in your jobs right now is not something that you'll never use ever again. Whether it's here at Boostability or somewhere else, it's something that having WordPress knowledge on your resume really does like put you that much further ahead of the game. I mean, I have 2 younger sisters, and they all want to do different stuff, not programming like me, but I tell them, like, I don't care what you want to use, you go learn WordPress. Because whether you're applying for some secretary job or whatever it is and you say you know WordPress, like, people that know, good companies, they'll recognize that. And they'll see the value in that and see the value in you. So I'll go over three small things right now. In order, starting from the least important. So the least important is WP development. Sam, do you know what that is as far as programming?
WordPress development.
It's a function. Come on. So let's talk about development real quick. I'm not gonna go.
Comments.
I'm not gonna go into depth. I just want you guys to just kind of know the backbone as to how WordPress works. So WordPress uses PHP. So if you want to start learning more coding, PHP would be where to start because that's what WordPress is built off of. With PHP, it works really great. I love it. It's my favorite programming language. When I was in college and I was going through the different languages, this is the one that stuck with me the most. I love the way the if-then statements work. So you can say, for example, if it's page home, then display a slider.
So is this similar to Python in that regards?
Yeah. Python and PHP are very, very similar.
Okay.
PHP is more database driven, meaning that things aren't done right then and there. There's a bunch of different files that call other files that call databases that just one big triangle. It's the MVC model basically. But again, this is just for general knowledge, so you guys are aware of how WordPress development works. One reason I love it is because it gives you the freedom to develop literally anything. Earlier this week, so my wife is a photographer, and we're trying to find a good solution for a way for her to put pictures after she takes a family session, and for that family to be able to log into her site and pick out their favorites. But there wasn't really a good plugin that did that. So I was able to go in and nothing too complex, but I basically built a plugin that displays images and they can check them. Just a simple checkbox to see if they like it. And it works within WordPress. So if you really do get into it, like, it sounds cliche as I'll get out, but the sky's the limit as far as what you can do with WordPress. So that's development. Again, that's the least important of the things to know about WordPress. Design's the second. This is something I told Sam a couple weeks ago. If it looks like crap, it is. Whether you're working for a client on your own or for your boss, it doesn't matter how good the back end works, the coding is. If it looks like a turd, it's going to be a turd. So that's why I have design one level above known development, because it's so huge. I can't tell you how many jobs I've gotten over other developers just because I know design. Just because if someone's looking at a bunch of WordPress developers and 90% of them are saying I know how to develop but I don't want to design, and one actually knows how to make the page look good, then guess who's going to get hired? The guy that knows a little bit of both. So all you guys are in a great position right now because you're doing a little bit of both. So and as well, the back end of WordPress, I don't know if any of you were familiar with WordPress before you started working here, but it can't be taught. Like, it's not rocket science how to place a widget, how to go replace text, how to add a page, how to make a new post, right? It's not rocket science. That can definitely be taught. But a visual eye, that's something that is a little harder to come by, just because you either have to be naturally adapt to it or you have to actually work hard at it to get that. So at my last company, I was the lead developer. It was a web development agency, and so I was always hiring new people. And then I remember this is one of the first people I had to hire on my own, where I had to go find the job posting, bring it in for an interview, and hire him, offer him, all that good stuff. And I remember having like 120 developer applicants, right? And out of those, I sifted through those. I got in my interviews, and then when I got to this chick, she had no development experience. She had just graduated from, what's a 3-month coding thing? Dev Mountain. She had just gotten out of that, and I was talking to her, and she was showing me her sample site, and it looked like a turd. Like, it was terrible. Like, no margins. Like, the logo was like in the very, very corner of the screen. Like, it was terrible. But then when I was talking to her, I was like, okay, well, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? And she told me she likes scrapbooking. And then immediately I was like, dang, like, this girl is going to be good at it, because that's all WordPress is. That's all web development is, if you think about it. Laying out blocks. Like, oh, let's have one long block here, one block here, block, block, block. And she's the one that I ended up picking, and sure enough, like, she was way better than other developers that that I hired, because what development can be taught, design is a little harder to come by. And last but not least, the most important one is having a desire to learn and continue to grow. Because I tell you, so I've been professionally doing WordPress for a little over 5 years. And in those 5 years, WordPress has gone from a blogging only platform to a full-on, like Spotify is built on it, like their site. And if you're not willing to keep learning, to keep adapting, then it's going to be tough to stay ahead of the curve, just because it's always changing. And just in the past year, WordPress went from being 100% PHP to starting to adopt JavaScript to do things more on screen. So it's definitely a challenge to stay ahead of it, but well worth it. So again, those are the three things: development, design, and desire. So pretty easy. Does anyone have any questions on that? Cool. Career path. That's again what I was telling you in the beginning. WordPress isn't going anywhere. Pretty much almost any job that you have, if you know WordPress, you'll be one level ahead of everyone else. Like I was telling you, I told my sister who was applying for a secretary job, like, go learn WordPress and put it on your resume, because you never know if that company uses WordPress. And there's a million in-house development jobs. All the small time shops, they all use WordPress, and they all need someone to help maintain it, or to build a new one, or to take it down, or just to edit stuff. And then again, let me just leave this up here for closing. That I just want to instill it in you guys that it's not going anywhere, and that it's in your best interest to do your best to keep learning and growing within each of your positions here at Boostability, because it's going to be a great asset to you. And like I've told Lou and Sam, I'm an asset of the company here to help really any of you. If you want to get better, not you, Lou, to get better at WordPress or design, or if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, chat me. I'm here almost every Thursday. You want to pull me aside for a second, like, by all means, like, I'm happy to help any of you individually to help you grow in your career. So that's it. Any questions?
So why can't we learn?
My professor said